On this, the former Conservative MP Sir Michael Fabricant joins me now. Sir Michael, if you lived in Piddington, what would you think?
I would be thinking I'm going to move out of Piddington if I could. And I can't blame them. I've been listening to that conversation. And, I think to myself, when Keir Starmer got in, what did he say? He said he was going to smash the boats. And now what's Andy Burnham saying is, well, we're going to put all these people into little villages and towns because now it's their turn. And it's completely impractical. I think it's absolutely appalling. I think we all do. And the problem will be is what are they going to do all day? They're being provided these buses and we're an attractive place to go to. What Andy Burnham should be saying, in fact, what the Conservative government when it was in power should have been saying, is we're going to make it so unattractive. We're not going to provide minibuses. We're not going to provide you with free fags. We're not going to provide you with all the benefits that they get. Instead, you're going to have a life of hell if you want to move across to the UK. Instead, the UK is one of the most attractive places to go to, and that's what they think. If you are an asylum seeker, come to Britain. It's the pavements are paved with gold.
Well, it's really interesting, actually, that Mary in County Down read out her views a minute ago about rural towns and villages becoming more diverse. Yes, but overnight with no increase in essential services. Is this, as she believes, by design? Is this the Labour government doing a social experiment? Of course, the Conservatives did to some degree as well, but this is a different move. Most of our cities, towns, villages, they grew organically over the centuries. Now they're growing by force and design, and unsurprisingly, the Tims of this world, who we heard from a minute ago, Tim McNally, the chairman of Piddington Parish Council, they're completely up in arms about this huge and significant change to their life. They don't even have a village shop, Michael.
That's right. And, it's as if Andy Burnham is trying to punish these small villages for being so nice. It's some sort of social experiment to drag. We used to say years ago, and then New Labour came in and changed it, or tried to change it. We used to say that Labour tried to drag everybody down to the equal same grey level. I lived and worked for a while in the old Soviet Union, and that was exactly their policy. I mean, everybody was on roughly the same wages, apart from a few people, but it was all the same grey level. And that's apparently what Andy Burnham is now trying to do. Anywhere nice, he is trying to ruin. And it isn't going to work in places like Piddington.
It's not just Andy Burnham, though, Michael, is it? It's not just Andy Burnham, it's not just Labour. The Boris wave occurred. There were huge levels of immigration. Why is it, including your party that you were an MP for, that time and time and time again in successive elections and referendums and so on, the government, the politicians like you used to do, like in the party that you were an elected member for, were told time and time again, sort out immigration, sort out illegal people coming into the country. They haven't done it. There is a lack of political will there, isn't there?
There is. And the problem was in the Conservative Party, maybe it still is, I don't know. I'm now a political commentator. I'm not a member of I'm a member of the Conservative Party, but I'm not actually in the House of Commons. The problem has always been that the Conservative Party, like so many parties, are an amalgam of different views. And we had what I always used to call the Lib Dem wing of the Conservative Party, holding Boris back, holding Theresa May back, holding all government leaders back, while people like myself, who I thought were true Conservatives, couldn't get legislation through. Now, in fairness, Kemi Badenoch is trying to change all that. She's already started blocking.
I mean, Boris Johnson had an 80-strong majority. He could have done whatever he wanted on this. Instead, there was the Boris wave. He could have.
No, I wish he could. But you know what, Peter? I mean, first of all, Boris may have had his own views, and I don't know exactly what his views were on this, but I can tell you, I was a government whip. An 80 majority is not enough if you've got a major rebellion on your side. And we saw that, of course, with the Labour Party just recently, where they tried to do welfare reforms, but were unable to do so with a huge majority, 140, 160, is it? Because a substantial number of people were against Labour Party policy on welfare. Similarly, we had a whole group of people called One Nation. Far from being One
Okay.
Nation, they were the Lib Dem wing of the Conservative Party, very boringly trying to block anything which would actually have provided a benefit from Brexit. Because they didn't believe in Brexit. They thought they knew better than the people
But,
who
but
had
still,
voted
but
for them.
still, with Brexit, as all of that going through, get Brexit done. That was the slogan of the 2019 election. We had Boris Johnson as Prime Minister. The Boris wave occurred. I mean, the Conservatives have a huge role to play in the problems that we're having in Piddington right now, and the fact that immigration continues to be a massive, live and difficult political issue. Andy Burnham has inherited, he's only been there 3 weeks, you're blaming him, and that's fine, and he does have a role
I'm
to
not
play.
blaming him. What I am blaming him for is policies which he is now bringing in. And he has started to say something which you didn't get under Keir Starmer, you didn't get under other people, i.e., you know what? If you're middle class, if you live in a nice village, you're going to have to take the weight too. This is something new. And this is Andy Burnham trying to appeal to the left wing of his own party.
What's the solution to this? What do you think? If you could wave a magic wand, what would you do to try to sort this? Because there's so many people who say they have solutions to it. There's so many people who say send in the Navy or sort it out or, get the French to do what they're meant to do. What do you personally think is the solution to problems like Piddington and everything that leads up to it? The processing, the boats arriving, the deterrent that doesn't exist. What would you do, Michael?
You know what? I'd make it so unattractive to come to the UK, people will not want to come to the UK. You don't get any benefits if you're an asylum seeker, so-called asylum seeker in France. That's why they come over to the UK. As I said earlier on, people think that the UK is a country whose pavements are paved with gold. And that's because, to some extent, compared to what you get in the rest of Europe, it is. I would actually stop all that. You had a phone call earlier on from someone in Melbourne. I remember years ago being in a place called, I've forgotten the name of it now, but anyway, Northwest Australia. And I wasn't there on any official visit. I was actually on holiday. And I met up with a Royal Australian Air Force guy. And he said, do you want to come up in an aeroplane with us? And I said, oh, that sounds a good idea. And we went out patrolling. And he was saying, you know what? The nearest capital city is not the capital of Western Australia. It's certainly not Sydney, Australia, on the eastern side. It's Jakarta. And he went flying over. We went flying over. They were drinking tinnies, actually, of Foster's, which was slightly worrying because the guy was piloting the plane at the same time. But
Right.
anyways, and we were spotting these boats coming over
Yes.
from Indonesia, and the Royal Australian Navy were going out and intercepting them and pushing them back. Now, that's a lot harder to do in the English Channel. Why? Because it's not so empty. And B, because there's no high seas. There's no neutral territory. In the English Channel, one bit is English, one bit is French.
Okay.
However, you make life in Britain difficult unless you are here living legally. That would stop them coming over.
Okay, Michael, thank you. Sir Michael Fabricant there, former Conservative MP.